My name is Abdel Shagur, originally from Morocco. I am the manager of the gallery. We are actually a few artists in this gallery, and everyone's got his own specialty. We are hosting right now a show by an Iraqi gentleman, artist and teacher, who is living in Iraq, and he's mastering the Orientalist work, as we can see behind us right here. In addition to his own work, he's done some studies, and we are also hosting a furniture maker and designer from Minnesota, Fred Johnson. With me here is Mr. Adnan Shati, who is an artist too, and I just let him talk.
My name is Adnan Shati. I'm an artist also and a teacher. The collective work of the Orientalist belongs to a cousin of mine, Aswad, who is a teacher and artist. And Ahmed seems to me like he's been working on these type of painting for a while, for a few years, and he sent me samples of his work, which is a collection of studies of the Orientalist work, and he sent them to me for sale or have a show. And like many artists in Iraq, they were not able to paint freely and sell or exhibit because of the government at the time when Saddam was in power. A lot of artists resolved to not to do anything or do very limited sketches, mostly pencil work. And when he was asked to do some oil painting or larger scale painting, that you have to go by what they tell you to do. So Ahmed, like other artists, did not do any of that. Said, I don't know, I don't do oil, and I don't do any other things, but I have color pencils and and a regular pencil. That's all I can do. This is just too much. I can't do it. So they got away with it for a long time. And when the regime collapsed during the U.S. invasion to Iraq, a lot of artists came out with their work. It's rolled up and filed somewhere around the house. And the first thing they did, when the regime collapsed in Iraq, that they were about 4 to 5 galleries opened overnight, and all of these wonderful artworks and oil paintings and of all kinds. And even I ran into a surrealist in Syria. It was astonishing to me to see his wonderful work. So I got a call from my friend Abdullah, and he said, I opened a gallery and I would like to have some paintings if you have. I said, yes, I do, in fact. And I brought the paintings and rolled them up in a big roll and laid them out in the gallery here. And they said, no, this is fantastic. Let's have a show. So Abdullah and I worked on preparing the stretchers and also, put it together so we can have a show. And as you can see, it varies the subject matter from mostly landscape. And for this time, one of the paintings that Ahmed used to do is that he did a series of studies of the marshes. And this is actually, it looks like the home I grew up in the marshes in southern Iraq and outside the city of Nasiriyah, my hometown, and his hometown. And the rest of them actually some series of studies of the Orientalist masters. And a lot of artists in Nasiriyah did that as part of their studies in the Art Institute of Art, or at the Institute of Art, or Baghdad Academy of Fine Arts. So I'm glad to be here, and we were able to put it together for a show and during the opening last week we have
Come by me here and tell me a little bit about those paintings. I know you cannot tell people read whatever, but I was really intrigued by this one. Look at it here from here.
Yeah, I'm really sorry.
Tell me, this is really, you know, even I was intrigued without reading the title, and it has very interesting interpretation. But
Yeah.
it's just fascinating.
This is
life.
one of the, what happened is that at the beginning and the mid 1800 and the beginning of 20th 1800 and up to the early 20th century, a lot of European artists came to the Middle East, especially in Egypt and Morocco and Algeria, especially when they were, North Africa was under the influence of France and Libya and the eastern part of the Arab world was divided between France and England
yeah.
and Iraq and the Saudi Arabia and the rest of the Arab world, and they were intrigued by the sun and the environment, the atmosphere of the land and the people and the colorful clothing and so forth. So they probably have not seen any lion hunting, but this was the imagination, how they create things. And when they brought their sketches and paintings to Europe or to their studios, and they found these shows were very successful, and they let their imagination run wild with it because they want to satisfy the elite society about it's kind of fantasy for them, hunting lions and the harems and the merchant markets and the society events and weddings and dance and all of that. So they, some of them probably, there were some of the settings were kind of a mistake because they really don't know the culture so well. For example, somebody paint a mosque with a naked boy in it, holding a snake or something, or a lady half naked laying in a corner of a mosque. That doesn't happen. This is their own imagination. This is not really.
This is heaven after the Isha.
Right.
I think they also wanted to bring.
This is no. There is no such thing.
They also wanted to bring, I believe, something for the culture to impress those.
Right,
like
and
you
they
just said,
yes, and
people.
sometimes there are mix of culture in one painting.
Interesting, yes.
For example, a picture of a lady could be from North Africa, could be Egypt, Tunisia, or Algeria, and there is a monkey sitting on the couch somewhere. We don't have monkey. This is mostly Indian stuff, or a peacock somewhere.
Right.
In the same painting, we don't have that in the Middle East. So this is their own imagination. They
most of the women are sitting there lazy and
yes, the woman also. I kind of took the liberty of one of the large painting that I did for an Indian restaurant. It's a fiesta, like a lady laying down on a big couch in the backyard, in a house, and in a courtyard of the house, and it's beautiful lighting. There is a banana tree in the back, although we did have a banana tree in our house, but we didn't have a monkey standing there, you know, and it was kind of funny to see that. And the woman, the young lady who was beautifully dressed and laying down taking a nap, there is a pot, a smoking pot.
Okay.
You know, like
or something.
Yeah, and on a table next to her. And it doesn't happen. This is not a Muslim society.
Were they conscious of this, or just?
Well, I think it's their own creation. They probably understood it in their own way. They saw it somewhere, so a combination of things come to the same thing.
Those foreigners.
Yeah.
No, it's